is our oldest manuscript, meaning it's handwritten.
Oh my god!
Very glad that you guys are here and glad that we can help each other to get more visible. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, a little bit about the special collections. So the collections here are made up of about 250,000 to 300,000 books. And the special collections is actually the oldest part of Maastricht University, not in terms of the building that we're actually standing in, but in terms of when the Dutch government decided that they wanted to put a university down here in Limburg, they went around looking for book collections to form the basis of a research library. And at the time in this region, there were several monastic seminaries that had closed down because less people were studying to become priests. And so they had all of these large book collections that they'd amassed over centuries. So the Dutch government bought 3 of them and put them together into what we call the Jesuit collection, which forms the core of the Maastricht Special Collections.
So is the special archive all public access, or do they have private sections?
No, everything is public. Not everything is digitized yet. Okay. So over there we have the vault, and everything in there, those are our rarest, our most precious books, and everything in there has been digitized, about 300, 400 books. Some of the books that you'll see, obviously, especially a lot that you see right here, are not actually that old. They're not necessarily special in that way, but they came with a collection, and so they're part of the closed stack. But no, everything is in principle accessible. If it's older than 1900, then you have to look at it here in the library. You can't take it home with you. But otherwise, yeah, everything is open, and we encourage students to have a look.
So how do you balance remaining accessible to students and to the community, but still like taking care of this really fragile and delicate items?
That's a very good question, and we get a form of that question a lot, because you see these books and you think like, okay, well actually the best thing for the books themselves would be if we just let them down here, turn the lights off, and never came back. But that would then defeat the purpose of getting to use the books, getting to still learn from them. For the most part, we really try to balance just making sure that as people are using them, that they're also informed about their fragility, about how to properly handle the book. So now we're going to walk all the way back, and I've laid some books out. The further back that we walk, the older that the books and the stacks get. So that's just something to enjoy, and the smell will get stronger the further back that you walk. Okay, so I tried to both pick out some things that are specific to your various areas of study, as Caroline requested, and also to pick out some of the highlights of our collection. We will start with these 2. These are the oldest books in our collection. This is the oldest printed book from near Venice, 1488. It's one of the only medieval books that we have in our collection. And so the binding is not original, that's a couple centuries later. But the rest of it, yeah, it's really in remarkable condition. And, so you're asking about how we take care of the books and how we balance the need for using them with the care. And so we do a lot of keeping track of these sorts of, just any sort of physical issues that we see in the books as we're using them, and just making sure that we have our eye on them and we're monitoring them and things like that. This is our oldest manuscript, meaning it's handwritten.
Oh my god!
1471.
Yeah. It's really hard to fathom that's handwritten.
And then just to imagine like how much this book has been through, what it survived, that it's still here. It's just amazing. Let's see, let's go to, which one of you is the global studies?
That's me.
This friend is for you. Okay. This is an atlas. This was created by a man called Mercator. So Mercator, he was someone who wanted to map everything. He wanted to map the whole world. He wanted to map every country, every province in it. He wanted to map the heavens. He wanted to map the underworld. This is as far as he got. And unfortunately, when he died, his collections were mostly unprinted and they were scattered to the winds. He had created first copper plates to do the printing with. And so in the 1620s, a Belgian man called Hondius purchased most of those plates and was able to finish the work. And so he printed these atlases, and we have another copy of this as well. And so this is known as the Hondius Mercator. You'll notice that we're not wearing gloves, right? So that's because it was actually decided that gloves reduce your sensile, tactile ability. You're more at risk of tearing the books when you're trying to turn a page like that and you can't feel it as much. There was a national and then an international decision made, no more gloves, just clean hands. Sachsenspiegel. But this book was originally written down in the 1240s under the order of the Count of Saxony, who wanted to have a written copy of what was then the common law of the area, because you didn't actually have law that was written fast and enshrined, right? It was still more of a bit of a living thing, and there were a lot of common customs that were not necessarily actual laws, but still enforced as such. And so this was one of the first codifications of that. Not this edition, but it was originally written in the Saxon dialect. This book really kicked off an era in, the late medieval period, so say between like the 1240s and 1500 or so, of writing down these common customs. And so this book, even though it has to do with Saxon law, it was sent as far as the Netherlands, as far as Latvia, as an example of something that would be smart for every society to do. And so it really started a trend of people writing down their laws and exchanging them with each other. Occasionally we found not of worms, but of like little mites, but like the little sort of dried shells. Yeah, luckily it's been a few years since we've found anything more serious than that. So this is part of an interesting series from the mid-18th century. A printer, publisher, map maker from Leiden called Peter van der A. He basically collected travel guides from whenever. He was just interested in all of the subjects, and then he compiled them and published these books. And so, this will be information and different stories from centuries apart. I think the oldest story that he had was also from somewhere in like the 13th century, and he'll just compile them thematically. It was one of the first available for popular audiences to be able to say, hey, I'm curious about, I think this book in particular is Panama and Peru. The original, the trip, is from 1526, but the printing is from 1706. Now, last but not least, fairy tale books. So we have the largest collection of what's called the Golden Age of Illustration fairy tale books. The style looks familiar to all of you, I'm guessing. We've all seen fairy tale books like this. So around the 1880s, the technology to print and reproduce these in color improved, became a lot cheaper. At the time, you have the expansion throughout the Western world of what we would call today the middle classes. So people have more money coming in. They have more money to spend on things that they don't need. And so these books became very, very popular, especially as presents and as Christmas presents for children. And there was a whole school of artists, Arthur Rackham, Edmund Dulac, this is also Arthur Rackham, who became very famous for this sort of style. And this golden age, shall we say, went from about 1880 to 1930, and then just styles changed. But in the interim, it became, very common to print out these storybooks, because all of a sudden people could afford to buy their children nice books that they might like to read just for fun, not because they were trying to learn anything. I bet all of us, when we were growing up, had at least one children's book that looked like this. And all of these books are digitized. So I was about to say that we have the largest collection of these books in the Netherlands, but probably also in the world. We have 57 of them. And as far as we know, we've not been able to find another similar collection anywhere. Those are our books. Let's go see if there's someone in the scan room right now. and this is Eduardo.
It's quite an old one. It's already outdated. Yeah. I have to put this slide on, this slide off. For scanning, it's better. I just do